Most men over 60 don't fall apart all at once. They slowly fade, and somewhere along the way, they accept it. But then there's another man. Same age, same past. Yet every morning, he looks completely different. Stronger, leaner, more alive, without saying a word. So what's the difference? It's not genetics. It's not luck. It starts in the first 10 minutes after he wakes up. And what he does there changes everything. 1. The first mistake: feeding stress before strength. Most men wake up and reach. Not for discipline. Not for direction. But for the phone. A message. A headline. A notification. A small hit of noise before the feet even touch the floor. And it feels harmless. But this is where the day begins to break. Because when you wake up, your body is already in a sensitive state. Cortisol is naturally rising. Your nervous system is preparing you to face the day. But when you add the phone immediately, news, emails, social media, problems, comparison, you turn a natural wake-up signal into a stress response. Researchers have found that heavier smartphone use is linked with a stronger cortisol awakening response. The natural cortisol spike after waking. Other research also shows that even the presence of a phone can pull attention away and weaken focus. So when you see yourself reaching for the phone before anything else, understand what it means. You are not checking the world. You are handing the world your first breath. Think about a man who wakes up at 6 o'clock. He checks one message, then one headline, then one short video. 10 minutes becomes 20. Before he has moved, drank water, or stood in silence, his mind is already crowded. He feels behind, he feels tense, and he does not know why. Now look at the other man. He wakes. He stays still. He breathes. He lets the morning belong to him first. Nothing dramatic. Nothing impressive. But powerful. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work, as a human being." He was reminding himself that the morning is not for escape. It is for duty, presence, command. So tomorrow, when your hand reaches for the phone, stop. Let that moment teach you. If you can't control the first impulse of the day, you will spend the rest of the day negotiating with weaker impulses. Sit up slowly. Place both feet on the ground. Take one deep breath. Then another. Do not touch the phone for 30 minutes. Let silence become your first discipline. Let stillness become your first victory. Because the man who owns his morning does not need to chase the day. He makes the day come to him. 2. The metabolic primer. Water before everything. Most men wake up and delay the simplest thing their body needs. They go to coffee. They go to the bathroom. They go straight into movement. But they skip the one signal that tells the body, you are safe now. After 6 to 8 hours without water, your body wakes up in a mild state of dehydration. You don't always feel it. There's no strong thirst, but internally, your system reads it as stress. And stress keeps cortisol elevated. So when you notice that your mouth feels slightly dry, your joints feel stiff, your head feels a little heavy, understand what that means. Your body is not ready for stimulation. It is asking for restoration. But most men ignore that signal. They override it with caffeine. Now you have a body that is already under subtle stress. And you add more stimulation on top of it. The result is predictable. Energy spikes, then crashes. Focus comes, then scatters. And the system never fully stabilizes. There's a reason high performers guard their mornings so tightly. Arianna Huffington, after collapsing from exhaustion, rebuilt her entire routine around recovery first, not output. She realized that the body doesn't negotiate with neglect. It keeps score, and it collects later. Hydration is one of those quiet debts. It seems small, but it compounds. Physiologically, even mild dehydration has been shown to increase cortisol levels and impair cognitive function. Your brain becomes less efficient. Your mood becomes less stable. Your body stays in a low-grade alert state. So when you wake up and go straight into your day without water, you are starting from a deficit. Now look at the other man. He wakes up, and before anything else, he drinks. Not casually. Not distracted. Deliberately. 500 milliliters of water. A pinch of salt. A squeeze of lemon. He understands something most men overlook. Hydration is not about thirst. It is about signaling. The salt helps the water enter the cells. The lemon supports the system. And the act itself tells the body, we are no longer in scarcity. Then he moves. Not a workout. Not intensity. Just controlled, full-range movement. Neck. Shoulders. Hips. Slow. Intentional. Awake. When you feel that stiffness in the morning, that tightness in your joints, that heaviness in your body, understand what it is. It is not age. It is information. Your nervous system is still in a guarded state after sleep. It has not yet received the signal that movement is safe. So it holds tension. But when you move slowly, deliberately, without force, you send a different message. The structure is intact. The body is capable. There is no threat. And cortisol begins to release. This is not about fitness. It is about communication with your body. A man who ignores his body in the morning spends the rest of the day compensating for it. A man who listens early moves through the day with less resistance. There's a quiet discipline in doing simple things well. Drinking water. Moving gently. Starting without rush. No one praises it. No one notices it. But over time, it separates men. Because strength is not built in intensity first. It is built in alignment. So tomorrow morning, before coffee, before noise, before movement that demands energy, drink. Slowly, fully. Stand still for a moment after. Then move your body like you respect it, not like you're trying to force it. Because the man who restores himself first does not need to chase energy later. He already has it. 3. The hormone shield. Light and cold discipline. Most men wake up and stay inside. Dim light. Artificial light. Screens before sunlight. And they don't question it. Because it feels normal. But the body doesn't run on what feels normal. It runs on signals. When you wake up and avoid natural light, what you're really doing is confusing your internal clock. Your brain doesn't fully register that the day has begun. The rhythm drifts. Hormones fall out of sync. And when that rhythm breaks, everything becomes harder. Sleep feels shallow. Energy feels inconsistent. Motivation comes and goes. Not because you lack discipline. Because your system is misaligned. There's a reason people feel heavier, slower, more foggy when they spend mornings in artificial environments. The body is still waiting for a clear signal. Andrew Huberman, a neuroscientist at Stanford, has explained that morning sunlight is one of the most powerful tools to regulate your circadian rhythm. Just a few minutes of early light tells the brain when to release cortisol properly, and when to allow it to fall. So when you step outside in the morning, even briefly, you are not just getting fresh air. You are setting the rhythm for your entire day. Now think about a man who wakes up, stays indoors, checks his phone, sits under artificial light, and goes straight into work. By mid-morning, he feels off. Not tired enough to rest. Not energized enough to perform. So he reaches for more coffee. More stimulation. More shortcuts. And the cycle continues. Now look at the other man. He finishes his water. He moves his body. Then he steps outside. No sunglasses. No distractions. Just light. 2 minutes. 5 minutes. Quiet, still, present. He lets his eyes receive the morning. He lets his body align. Nothing dramatic. But everything shifts. Then comes the part most men avoid. Cold. At the end of the shower, he turns the water cold. Not because he enjoys it. Because he understands it. When you feel that resistance, the hesitation before turning the knob, that's the moment revealing something deeper. Your mind wants comfort. Your body needs adaptation. Cold exposure triggers a surge in norepinephrine, a chemical that sharpens focus, increases alertness, and helps reduce the stress response over time. Studies have shown that even brief cold exposure can significantly elevate this response. But more than chemistry, it builds something else. Control. There's a story about Theodore Roosevelt, known for pushing himself into discomfort, cold rivers, harsh conditions, physical challenges, not to prove toughness to others, but to build it within himself. He believed a man should not be softened by ease. That principle still stands. Because every time you avoid discomfort, you reinforce hesitation. Every time you step into it, you reduce fear. So when the cold water hits your skin, and everything in you wants to step back, stay. 30 seconds. 60 seconds. Breathe through it. Let your system adapt. Because in that moment, something important happens. Your body realizes you are in control, not the environment. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Cold water is not the challenge. Your reaction to it is. So build the habit. Step outside. Face the light. Finish with cold. No negotiation. No drama. Just quiet discipline. Because the man who aligns his body with nature and trains himself to face discomfort early walks into the rest of the day already prepared. 4. The nutritional gap. Timing over habit. Most men wake up and eat immediately. Not because the body asks for it, but because the routine says so. Breakfast at a fixed time. Coffee with sugar. Something quick, something familiar. And it feels right. Because it's been repeated for years. But when you eat too early, while cortisol is still high, you're not fueling the body. You're confusing it. When you notice that you feel heavy after breakfast, or hungry again too soon, or your energy rises and crashes within an hour, understand what that is. It's not the food alone. It's the timing. Cortisol and insulin don't operate separately. When cortisol is elevated and you introduce carbohydrates, the body is more likely to store energy rather than use it efficiently. Especially around the midsection. So what feels like fueling your day quietly becomes fat storage. You don't see it immediately. But over time, it shows up in the mirror. There's a reason many men say, "I eat healthy, but I still gain weight." Because they never learned when to eat. Dr. Sachin Panda, a leading researcher in circadian biology, has shown that aligning eating with the body's natural hormonal rhythm improves metabolic health, even when the food itself doesn't change. Same meal. Different timing. Different result. Now picture a man who wakes up and eats within 10 minutes. His body is still in a stress-driven state. Insulin rises into that environment. Energy is stored, not optimized. An hour later, he feels it. Slower, heavier, less sharp. So he reaches for more coffee. More sugar. More stimulation. And the cycle tightens. Now look at the other man. He wakes up. Hydrates. Moves. Steps into light. And then he waits. Not starving. Not forcing. Just allowing the body to shift. He gives it 60 to 90 minutes. During that time, cortisol rises and then clears. Insulin sensitivity improves. The system resets. When he finally eats, the body is ready. And the food lands differently. Not as storage, but as support. He prioritizes protein. Eggs. Fish. Yogurt. Simple, clean, sufficient. Because after 60, muscle is not maintained by chance. It is protected by intention. Dr. Donald Layman, a protein metabolism expert, has emphasized that older adults require higher protein per meal to stimulate muscle protein synthesis effectively. Not throughout the day, per meal. So this man doesn't snack mindlessly. He anchors his first meal with purpose. When you feel the urge to eat immediately after waking, understand what's behind it. It's not always hunger. It's habit. It's comfort. It's routine asking to be repeated. But discipline begins where habit is questioned. There's a quiet strength in waiting. Not extreme fasting. Not deprivation. Just precise timing. Because the man who eats with awareness does not fight his body later. He works with it. So tomorrow morning, don't rush to eat. Let your body wake fully first. Then feed it what it actually needs. Because strength is not built by what you eat alone, but by when you choose to eat it. 5. The foundation. What you build in the morning builds you. Most men think the morning is just a start. A routine. something to get through. But that's the misunderstanding. The morning is not preparation. It is construction. When you look at a man who feels slow, carries extra weight, lacks sharpness, it's easy to assume the problem is in his training, his diet, or his age. But often, the pattern was already decided before 8 a.m. Because the body does not reset every hour. It compounds. What you do in the first hour creates a hormonal environment. And that environment shapes every decision after. When you notice that your workouts feel harder than they should, your focus fades too quickly, your recovery takes longer than expected, understand what that is. It's not always effort. It's the foundation underneath it. If cortisol stays elevated too long in the morning, testosterone remains suppressed longer. If your system starts the day in stress, dehydration, misalignment, and poor timing, then everything you do later is working against resistance. You can train harder, eat cleaner, push more, but the body will still feel like it's fighting itself. There's a reason elite performers obsess over small details. James Clear, who studied habits deeply, said, "You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems." And the morning is the system. There was a story about a man in his 60s who changed nothing about his workouts for months, but adjusted only his mornings: hydration first, light exposure daily, delayed breakfast, no phone for the first 30 minutes. Within weeks, his energy stabilized. His midsection leaned out. His sleep improved. Same man, same body, different environment. That's the difference. Because the body responds to signals more than intentions. Now look at the structure. You wake without noise. You hydrate. You move. You step into light. You face cold. You wait before eating. Nothing extreme. Nothing complicated. But each step sends a message. We are safe. We are in control. We are aligned. And over time, those messages become your default state. Not forced. Not temporary. Stable. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. But the quality of your thoughts depends on the state of your body. And the state of your body is shaped by the signals you give it early." So the morning is not a checklist. It is a decision. A decision to either drift or to take command. Because the man who builds his morning with intention does not spend the rest of the day correcting mistakes. He moves forward from strength. Discipline in the morning becomes your advantage for the entire day. Go back to the question, what's the first thing you do after you wake up? Be honest with it. And now that you understand what that one habit is doing to your body, tell me, did it match what you expected, or did it surprise you? If this gave you something most morning routines miss, subscribe to Silent Stoic, so each day, you become stronger and calmer. And ask yourself this: tomorrow morning, will you repeat the same habit, or change it?